Let's set the mood just right. Here we are. Hello there. I'm Winn, and I'm here to take you on a journey through one of the most chill, most relaxing, and most pleasing genres you may never have heard of, and that's called lo-fi. Now, as a quick disclaimer before we get started, let me make it absolutely clear. This is not a video about how to make lo-fi beats, not how to make the music genre. This is not about creating music, rather explaining the genre in itself, the intricacies, the bits and aspects that surround it, and much more. So, with all that out of the way, it's time to get your headphones on, grab your notebook, and relax. It's time to lo-fi. Now, a quick thing I want to mention before we get started is that for some of you techno nerds perhaps, you may be wondering, what exactly am I doing in this super duper dark room with digital noise surrounding me? Terrible camera quality, you would think. This is actually intentional. Why? You'll find out soon enough. But for the rest of you, we're going to break this story up into several different aspects. First, we'll start off with the definition of what it is, the history behind it, the examples of a few artists, the study girl. We'll also follow that up with the music companies listed within the genre, YouTube streams, the aspects of the genre, and then even subgenres within it. So, with that all out of the way, let's get going. Now, like all proper documentaries, we first need to look at the basic definition. That's always a good start. So, if you go to your local computer or phone or any sort of internet connecting device, you can look up for the short term, lo-fi, but the long term is low fidelity. This refers to when audio quality is poor, like on an old record player. The phrase hi-fi may sound familiar because it's the opposite. Hi-fi is high quality sound audio, high fidelity. So the word originally is low fidelity, which is shortened to simply lo-fi. Now that's the closest thing you're going to get to an official definition, but really, because it's more of just a cultural thing and a social aspect, it's going to vary from person to person. Now, lo-fi nowadays refers to a genre of music with lots of hip-hop beats and jazz tones. That's, I guess you could say, is a loose definition, because lo-fi can be whatever the artist wants it to be. But a common theme is that the instrumental beats are usually hip-hop, and there'll be lots of jazz instruments and tones and themes to accompany it. Now that's the simplest way to describe it, but the music itself has a lot of deeper undertones to it. A lot more aspects than meets the eye. Besides, there's no point in just telling you a simple definition and then just ending the video right now. No. In the first aspect, like everything you've ever learned, we gotta start with the history of it. Now, since lo-fi is very much so still underground and not that widespread in terms of popularity, the artists are not as famous as today's more modern favorites. Of course, popularity is kind of irrelevant because everyone will have their own personal favorites. It's normal. But that doesn't exempt the fact that there are some that are better known than others. Kudasai, JHFly, and a few others come to mind. Now, one popular music artist that's on the rise that is considered lo-fi is Joji. Now, you may know Joji, you may have listened to his music, you may remember him back long ago when he was better known as Filthy Frank, a comedic prankster on YouTube. He basically gave up that life, he threw it all out, and decided, you know what? I want to make music. He makes very chill R&B style music. A lot of people call it lo-fi. I wouldn't suggest calling it lo-fi because the tones that are used in his music are substantially different than what you'd find in his. They relate more to R&B, classic R&B, than to lo-fi. Now, that's not to say that he has lo-fi aspects or lo-fi inspirations. Everyone does. There's lo-fi in a little bit of everything. So when I say Joji isn't a lo-fi artist, I'm not saying that to spite him. It's just that his music is better aligned with R&B. That's a genre that better suits the style of music he makes, the style he is trying to convey to people. So I think the most respectful thing that I and we can do is just simply acknowledge that. Now let's keep things simple. We're just looking at 4, remember, with all different styles, but within the same world. These 4 artists are Pandrez, Alex, J.H. Fly, and Leave. Now, Pandrez has music that can be best described as very jazzy and upbeat. Plenty of guitar chords and saxophones can be heard throughout tracks. Definitely something I would consider as happy music. It could be likely played regularly during the day. Some styles of any music can be reminiscent of something. A song may remind you of a day or an event. Pandrez music can mostly be associated, at least it would best associate, with something along the lines of summertime. Warm, happy, upbeat, all these positive affirmations. It's the kind of music that'll bring joy, even in the smallest amounts, just to kind of have that good time feeling. It's the kind of music, it's the kind of lo-fi music that you could almost dance to. It's got that little, almost like kind of jazz, raggedy thing to it. It almost makes you want to get up and just do a nice little jiggle or something. Now, that depends on your dancing skills, but regardless. Alex, now with the space in between each letter that's actually intended, is a whole new direction, a total 180. Alex has songs that definitely have not only a stronger emotion per se, but that emotion is consistently blues and overall a sad feeling. If you listen closely to his samples, familiar instruments will become apparent. This gives him sort of a uniqueness of his own, so that when you're listening to a random radio stream, you can listen to it and think, oh, I bet Alex made that. That's the kind of thing that he does, and he does it rather well. He has a very unique name for nearly every song he creates. He's done this with many songs before. Not all of them are like this, of course, but there's a couple that stand out because they're really long titles, they're interesting, they're unique, they're sometimes just flat out weird. But here's a couple of them, because I think they're pretty interesting. We have a song called I Miss Having Sleepovers. We have another song called Dropped My Cassette Tape in the Bathtub. The Burn Marks on My E-Piano Won't Go Away. And probably my favorite lo-fi title ever, I Wasn't Allowed to Watch Whose Line as a kid, but I think it's pretty good now. Now, key emphasis there, allowed spelled A-L-O-U-D, allowed. That's a little thing he does there. And one thing that actually makes that song really interesting is that at the very beginning, the very intro of that song, before the beat kicks in, you can hear Whose Line dialogue in the background if you listen closely. Look, just take a listen to the song real quick and you'll get what I'm saying. Simple stuff like that makes him one of my personal favorite artists. Now, of course, we can't just talk about him forever. I said we'd talk about 4. We're halfway through. Let's go on to the third one, and that's J.H. Fly. He's probably the most popular lo-fi artist you never knew. J.H. Fly is probably what I would consider the lo-fi-est artist out there. Simplicity is his strength. He doesn't like to go too crazy with unnecessary instruments, unnecessary mumble jumble. It's kind of a back to basics roots, and that's kind of what makes him so widespread in his appeal. It forms a blend that satisfies all. Now, this is not to say that he doesn't have any noticeable style. Smoothness is always a guarantee with him. There's always a reason that lo-fi is known for being chill, and that's because music like this comes from the minds of these artists. Now, to make sure you don't get the false notion of J.H. Fly's music being just bland, the diversity within his music is astounding. Because while all of his music may keep that simplistic element, the diversity of those simple elements can vary wildly. So you get a whole different experience every time. The best way to experience it is to hear and listen to the tracks yourself and see how they correlate with one another. Now let's talk about the last one, that is Leave, L-E-A-V-V, or Liav if you want to be fancy, Liav. But diversity is our strength, and this quote best summarizes him. He has a wide range of styles, choices, tones, emotions, blah, blah, blah. It's really hard to put it into words, similar to J.H. Fly. He has so many different styles of music, and really, it's something that I can't put into words and explain to you. The best way is to simply just listen to a lot of the music and kind of figure out for yourself, oh, that song is different to this song. This one's more upbeat, this one's more kind of sad. Stuff like that. Especially his collaborative works. They always give a little bit of what he does best and give it an added twist. A little bit of everything is something special. And that's why, of many great songs, some are my personal favorites. A lot of these artists have great songs that I love. That's why I chose them. And the other reason is because they all have different themes. Pandra's is very upbeat, Alex is very low. J.H. Fly, very basic. Leave does a whole bunch of different things. Now, of course, with all these artists, these are just a few basic examples. The best way to get a proper understanding is to take a deep and attentive listening to their music. You will discover their styles, and you can discover that the best by experiencing it yourself, rather than just me spoon-feeding all this information to you. And even if I do that, you're not going to get the full effect. Besides, it's more fun anyway to listen to it. Well, look, enough of my high horseness. You've got a basic understanding now. And with that out of the way, we can get to some new aspects. Particularly, visual aspects. Visual backgrounds may sound like something extremely unimportant, but for lo-fi it actually really is. The visual aspect of lo-fi has a lot of aesthetic. Pictures have moods, they have themes, they have emotions that they want to evoke from us. Does that sound familiar? Because that's what they want. A picture will add to that. Basically what I'm trying to say is visual backgrounds are usually something with a heavy emphasis on aesthetic, and it usually accompanies the same mood of the song. One in particular stands out, and that is the unofficial mascot of lo-fi. Now take a look at this. You may recognize it, perhaps you don't. This is the mascot of lo-fi music, unofficially of course, but it is one of the most recognizable pictures regarding lo-fi. This is the study girl. Now who is she? Well, there's actually a bit of history behind it. Throughout 2014 to around early 2018, Chill Hot Music, one of the biggest labels within the lo-fi genre, they ran their lo-fi stream on YouTube with this continuous clip of a young woman studying, reading, and writing notes down. This clip comes from the popular anime film called Wolf Children. However, in 2018, the studio behind the film claimed the photo copyright, essentially dooming her appearance on the stream. Chill Hot Music was forced to remove the clip from the stream. However, she did have her final moment of glory. The final seconds of the stream with her, she essentially gives in and falls asleep. The stream ends, and thus, this chapter of the Study Girl. Chilled Cow has also had their unique clip as well. Now, Chilled Cow, the other big lo-fi label, had kind of a similar fate. They had an anime clip, they looped it, and the studio behind that anime film put a photo copyright on and took down the stream. However, these two labels, Chilled Cow and Chill Hop, took different approaches to this new scenario. Chill Hop Music decided to rebrand its content. The brand is now recognizable with their new mascot, the raccoon. This raccoon is shown on the streams and even on some comics made by artists and fans, giving two eras of Chill Hop in a way. And if you didn't know, they've gone through different iterations, they've gone through different art styles. So this is kind of their most recent one. Here's a sticker that I got that kind of gives the modern logo for Chill Hop Music. Now, if you look really closely here, kind of that C and H that are combined, they have that same raccoon head that they have here. Nice little touch, I'd say, but this is kind of the main logo of Chill Hop Music right now, and Chilled Cow, of course, has a cow. I mean, why else are they called Chill Cow? No, so really you have two different eras for Chill Hop. You have the Wolf Children era, and then the Raccoon era. Chilled Cow, on the other hand, made a different style of their old character. Instead of a young boy, it was simply a girl in the same situation and scenario, including a window to the outside that changes with the day. So if you watch the stream at night, the outside window will be black and raining. If you watch it during the day, there are clear skies with the city backdrop visible. During Christmas time, they change the background to add snow. Small details like this go a long way, and it's paying off. Even now with the Chilled Cow stream, the lighting dynamics change by the minute. So if you go back 5 minutes on the video, it'll be 5 minutes brighter. It'll be just a little bit brighter the farther back you go. And as you keep going through the night, it gets darker and darker and darker and darker until it goes into complete night. It's a really small thing, but it really makes such a huge impact. And it really does add up. And that's a lot different from when it was just, it'd be completely clear sky sunny to immediately black and rainy. Literally just with the snap of a finger went from bright time day, pitch black night. But now with this new adjustable daytime system, it makes it so cool. Chilled Cow Study Girl has been a massive success and has pushed Chilled Cow as the top lo-fi stream on YouTube. However, other lo-fi streams have their own background image or character as well. Chill Hop's raccoon quickly comes to mind. And the streams are important too, which we will get to right now. Initially, this may not make sense much to the average onlooker, but lo-fi gained a majority of its popularity through YouTube rather than the dedicated music apps of Spotify, Pandora, and this was before YouTube Music was a thing. So keep in mind, this was not exactly the smartest route to go for in terms of spreading your image and popularizing a brand. It didn't rely on cultural adjustment to happen over several years and decades, similar to how rock and roll was frowned upon in the 50s and then eventually became a sensation. As mentioned before, the original Chill Hop Music team was on YouTube with the Wolf Children Study Girl and is considered the original lo-fi stream, and paved the way for several dozens of other lo-fi and chill music style live streams through YouTube and other music apps. Now, there's a lot of examples. I'm not saying they're copycats, because that's not what lo-fi is about. It's not about people copying others and trying to make their own name. People just want to share it, and there's a bunch of different outlets to do so. So, here's a list of just some of them. Yes, this is only some. There's Vibin', Chilled Cat, ETM Music, Aesthetic, Blossom Music, College Music, In Your Chill, Homework Radio, Nourish, Monster Fluff Music, and so many more. Now, what significance does being on YouTube have? Well, shortly before lo-fi took off, YouTube had recently introduced live streaming to their website. This was to compete with the fact that Facebook had just introduced Facebook Live. Live streaming was becoming very popular very quickly. So YouTube decided to add live streaming to their website, and that was the easiest way, that was the easiest outlet for lo-fi stations to get going. Chill Hop Music took advantage of this opportunity and decided to use their archives of music and put it into a never-ending live stream for all of YouTube to see. The title is now the pretty famous and well-known Lo-Fi Chill Beats to Study/Relax to. Because that was the original intent of the video. It wasn't supposed to be a gathering space for dedicated artists or a selective group. It was open for all. It was literally, come on down, we don't judge here, whatever you want, this is just a place of relaxation. That was the intent, and that's what happened. It was open for all, and to come into a listening environment where lo-fi was the mainstay, and you could do whatever you want. Calming music to de-stress or stay relaxed, or some background music to block out loud roommates or family, or something to keep focused on while studying. The motives people had varied wildly, which was a magical appeal the stream had. Another added benefit, like the other live stream services, was the chat box. Users could type in messages for anyone, and it helped create a very unique and tightly knit community with people from various cultures and around the entire world. Chill Hop Music saw the popularity skyrocketing, and they knew they had a golden opportunity waiting. Thanks to ad spots in the form of algorithms, the music live stream seemed to end up in everyone's recommended videos page on YouTube. Some weren't interested, and they became increasingly annoyed by the ads. Believe me, YouTube has a notorious issue where if you watch one thing one time, it'll suggest 85 other things. The best way I can describe it is, let's say you go on YouTube and you want to watch the highlight video from one Kentucky Derby, a Kentucky Derby race, just one, from a certain year. The YouTube algorithm will then automatically assume you are just obsessed with horses, with everything, horse racing, like farms and all sorts of stuff like that. YouTube has a bit of a problem with that. And it was weird because people weren't searching for lo-fi, but it always showed up on their recommended page. Some people eventually gave in, some people got even more annoyed, which I don't blame them. But some curious folks decided to give it a try. And those who did are glad they took that leap into this special world. During the Wolf Children era of the Chill Hop stream, it was the undisputed ruler in terms of views and popularity. But after the copyright claim and the forced rebranding, some actually left to go to the Chilled Cow stream, which is now taken over in terms of total views on the YouTube streams. However, these two music spaces are not rivals. Chilled Cow and Chill Hop are not rivals, they're not business competitors, they're not evil enemies trying to take each other down. No, that's not what they're about. They just want to chill. That's the whole thing about lo-fi. They all coexist peacefully in harmony, simply enjoying the music they provide to the world through the many great artists they find. However, back in late February of 2020, the Chilled Cow livestream ended, and thus the video finally was finished. Because it was a never-ending live stream, it just went on hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. It never stopped. Once the video finally was finished, the time was added up. The live stream amassed over a year and a half of total time, an astounding 13,000 hours of consecutive chill beats that came to an abrupt end. Thankfully, the stream was back up in a matter of hours as YouTube reluctantly admitted that it was a mistake on their end. The stream has been doing fine since then, and the Chilled Cow owner expressed their gratitude to the millions of fans. The stream has been doing just fine ever since, with songs being released all the time, including special 1-hour mixes every once in a while. Sometimes you'll get releases. Chill Hop likes to do their essentials for every season. You'll have the Chill Hop Spring Essentials, the Summer Essentials. Chilled Cow has their own specialty as well. They had, I believe, the 1 a.m. chill study session vinyl that they released not too long ago. Just something to point out. Now we're going to talk about the aspects of lo-fi. Now, let me start off with a clear caveat. I am not a music producer. I am not a music maker. I don't know anything about how to make music. So if you want to learn how to make lo-fi style music, I'm not your source for that. I'm just a messenger spreading the word on a genre. Now there are two parts to this. The aspects that come with all lo-fi music and the different styles and subgenres that exist within lo-fi. But we will begin with the first aspect that comes to many lo-fi songs. These are not exclusive to lo-fi, however these things are prevalent and relatively common throughout this form of art. All music genres like to share and experiment with sounds, samples, tunes, tones, and beats. Sharing really is caring in the world of music. Chill Hop has noticed the extreme diversity among this and has decided to take action, launching a sub-brand. They actually have a sub-brand already called Memoir Music. Now, one of the big things about Memoir in comparison to just Chill Hop is that Memoir Music wants to put a heavy emphasis on the visual aspect. Every video that they release on YouTube is of a song, of course. However, the visual thing that comes with the song kind of adds to it. It's like an enhancement of an already certain mood for the song. Here, just look at this quick sample and you'll kind of understand what I mean. There's a clear difference between this and traditional lo-fi beats on the main Chill Hop channel. They even host special community events. In November of 2019, they launched Pen Pals. This was a special Pen Pals type of plan to get genre fans 5 postcards and send them to each other. Now, you may be wondering how I know about that, and that is because I took part in it. This was to help with their winter collection, their winter essentials for 2020. Now, here's the pictures that came with it. As you can see, they all had their different styles to them, different artists that created them. They're really well made postcards as well. They're really nice quality. The pictures are very high quality, they're clear, easy to see, and they're very nice. This card in particular, is probably my favorite, not because of what's here on the front, but because of what's on the back. They have notes that they put down, and I'll read them to you. Thank you for being a part of this. Send your cards to other members of the community and wait for them to write to you. Now, of course, obviously, haven't set them out because I need to show you guys first, but my favorite thing though of all this is that right here in the corner there's a little extra tidbit of a note, right here. Handwritten. Greetings from Chill Hop fam. Now, Chill Hop Music isn't in America. They're not American headquarters. They're actually from Europe. So getting a handwritten note like that, even if it's just a sentence, means a lot. It was definitely a neat idea that they did for this Pen Pals project. I personally loved it, and I highly encourage them to keep on doing it and get more people to spread the message, and even in that community, get it closer knit. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into some of the deeper technical tidbits. Obviously, for every kind of music, you need a tempo, the speed of the song. Lo-fi songs can range, however, most are very slow. You can look at about 100 beats per minute when it comes to these tracks. Of course, that's not the be-all end-all. Some could be fast, some can be slow. Now, 100, you might say 200 if you're one of the fast clap kind of people, but You know, that's what it's all about. Whatever flows best with you. You need a beat as well. Drums, hip-hop beats, claps, all sorts of sounds that can give that indication. Other supporting instruments, guitars, saxophones, and pianos. Now pianos, they play an extra important role in lo-fi. They're very popular. Now, I'm not saying that because, I'm a piano No, I've never played piano before. I cannot do it. But piano is probably the most prevalent instrument in lo-fi. Now, what makes the piano so important? It's almost like a singer in a lo-fi track. However, this doesn't mean that there's no vocals. Most tracks usually have just like dialogue in their intro just before the verse kicks in. Oftentimes, this is from popular TV shows or movies. In these cases, the dialogue often gives a hint to the theme of the song. So a song with a theme of love and a broken heart will have dialogue that resonates with that. A song with more jazzy upbeats will have a different outlook. It can give us insight into the artist, perhaps an understanding of something. Music comes from our own experiences, and we use that musical creation to express something in a way that words cannot do. Now, this doesn't mean there aren't singers and vocals in lo-fi songs. There are for sure. It's just not very common. Some may wonder why, and there's no definitive answer. Now, I think the reason there aren't that many actual vocal singers is because the instruments, the pianos, the beats, they are already doing the singing. You can add that vocal, but it's not needed. Like always, gotta claim, I'm not a music expert though, don't take my opinions too crazy. I am not Anthony Fantano, I'm not a member of Genius, I'm not even a music major. Merely a single person spreading a message of encouragement. The popularity of lo-fi, as mentioned before, skyrocketed in such a short amount of time. It's given something special for so many people. However, this doesn't mean that it's flawless. A New York Times article, yes, the New York Times has actually talked about lo-fi, and they even had an entire article somewhat dedicated around them. And it had a very provocative title that could get under people's skin. Pirate radio stations explode on YouTube, and it gave talks to the loopholes and gray areas of YouTube licensing and the radio station contracts. Thankfully, this is not an issue people need to worry about. Chill Hop and Chilled Cow take pride in their connections with their artists, creating deals and licensing that helps ensure transparency for all involved. However, this doesn't mean that problems just simply don't exist. Some use music without permission. Some artists may not mind this, some might. In these situations, the channels will work with the artist to either find some sort of compromise to create a contract, or the stream can simply remove the artist's music. Now, one aspect that is very important is its importance to others. Now, this isn't to say that the music saves people's lives, but for some it may have given a sense of escapism from a harsh reality. The genre has gotten so much influence nowadays that it's even starting to be woven into our pop culture. BoJack Horseman, probably one of the most popular TV shows on Netflix, which is one of the most popular streaming services in the world, had their own bit of lo-fi hinting. Take a look.
I thought you loved Joey Pogo.
I love his music. He's my second favorite recording artist after lo-fi chill hop beats to study/relax to.
I love lo-fi chill hop beats to study/relax too.
So maybe you've gotten to this point and you're thinking, wow, this is actually kind of interesting. I want to take more of a look. Well, the best answer to that is go onto YouTube, type in Chilled Cow, type in Chill Hop Music, go onto their channels, look at the videos, listen to the music. That's really the best advice I can give. Heck, it's probably the only advice I could give. Telling you isn't going to give you all the answers. It's something you have to experience yourself. Music has evolved thousands of times in thousands of ways over thousands of years. We never know what can come next, what can be created, what we can achieve. Mellow moods and stressed minds call upon our youth to come together as one and join into lo-fi. The relaxation aspects, the smoothness of the songs, it all comes together to create one musical high that is truly unlike any other.